Yeah, this is from our coffee group this morning.
All right, that's where you get all the answers,
yeah,
right?
As a Republican, are you more concerned that this is an unfair tax, or are you really worried that our conservative Republicans in legislature is going to turn into a bunch of liberal Democrats and spend all the money?
That's not fair
Which
to Woody.
is your main
That's not
concern?
fair to Woody down here. Here's my sense. And I don't know how to answer this question except for this way. We fought hard in the 90s to reduce the cost of government in the state of North Dakota. It wasn't easy. It was tough. But we spurred the economy. We cut some costs. And when I left office, we had a lower cost of government in relation to income than we had before. So we were lowering the cost of government. Since I left in the last 10 years, they've doubled the size of government. As a conservative, I don't think that's a very good idea. And I'll give you an example of why too much money can get you into trouble. But the size of government's doubled. We've become 30% dependent and marching upward on oil revenues. So we're vulnerable. Our economic security is tied to production. And if we don't have the production, we lose 10% revenues, 30% of the oil revenues. It affects us dramatically. If you lose 50% of the revenues, dramatic cost structure to the state of North Dakota. I don't particularly like that, but you know what? We have it. So I don't want to fight. If I were down there, if I were in the governor's seat, or had a seat at the table, I'd be fighting about how much we're spending. This discussion says we're there, whether we like it or not. And how are we going to maintain it? How are we going to make sure that tomorrow we have enough to feed what we have? I also think that one of the issues that I would love to hear the discussion on is, where are we in our business relationship? Because that's what we're talking about, a business relationship between our business community and the state of North Dakota. And when you have too much money, what you tend to do is solve. I've been there, Unfortunately, I came in when we didn't have enough money, right? but you tend to solve problems by taxpayers' dollars. And here's an example. In the governor's budget, there is a $150 million project to build a water treatment facility and a water pipeline in the Williston area. When we were up in Williston last week, in our public discussion, a person that's on the water commission stood up and said, we really need that facility up here. 50 million of it. 50 million is the water treatment plant, and we really need to do that. But of the 150 million, he said $100 million of that is going directly to compete to the private sector. Now, so your tax dollars are going to build a pipeline, if it's passed, going to build a pipeline that will compete with the private sector. That's what too many dollars on the table does. You try to solve problems with taxpayer dollars instead of spurring economic activity through private business investment in our state. So those are all great debates that I'd love to have, but this one's got to be centered on what do we do to maintain that production, because we have what we have. It's there, and we're not going to cut it tomorrow. We're not going to slow it down. It's there, and they've got $1.5 billion more dollars coming from oil in the next budget to do something with. Hopefully, part of them they'll invest in lowering the tax rate so that we'll be competitive in the long term, so you continue to have that coming up. Yes,
so should this gentleman bring back to the coffee club the tax is the bigger worry?
Well,
he wanted to know which one. It sounded like you were saying that we're there on the spending, so tax is the best chance to fix it.
Well, in my opinion, the focus has got to be on production. We need to do you can say, well, hey, why don't we just lower the corporate tax? Why don't we lower sales tax? Why don't we lower personal income tax? Those are all taxed, and more people could enjoy them. They'd be broader ranged. Everybody could participate. But if you look at what's our need, how do we continue to raise enough revenue to pay for the programs in place? It seems to me the most important thing you can do is maintain the production values in North Dakota.